And here we are. Welcome back to Series 2, Episode 6 of the Passionate Pioneer podcast with my guest today, Catherine Kelleher. Hi, Cath.
Kelleher, yeah. Hello, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks, Cath. So today, thank you for joining me. So obviously, I'm the passionate pioneer for anybody watching. I'm obsessed with empowering women to design a life fueled by passion and purpose. My mission is empowered women, empowered lives. And this podcast is just a springboard for stories of women who have followed their passion. So let's introduce Cath. Cath's journey wasn't always sunshine and roses. Years ago, she faced a major personal crisis, a time of immense stress, depression, anxiety, and fear. Feeling lost and hopeless, she had to rebuild her life from the ground up. This challenging experience fueled Cath's passion to help others, and today she is a certified transformation coach, combining the mind detox method with neuro-linguistic programming, empowering her clients to clear limiting beliefs, overcome stress from burnout, and achieve success. Wow. That's quite awesome.
Yeah, that's good.
Right?
Yeah.
So tell me, most of the women I interview, when I read the bio, they're like, oh my God, did I really do all of that? Is that me? It sounds, it sounds very glamorous, doesn't it? But I know that the road to get you here today, obviously in your story, part of your story is that you had a moment, a spiritual turning point, as I would call it, that you wanted, that spurred you into doing or having this passion for helping other women. So tell me a little bit about that story, and let's go back to when you had this moment.
Okay, so I finished university and I studied music at university, and I came out of university and didn't really know what to do. And so I ended up working in a theatre where I was like in a call centre almost, but also doing other little jobs around the place. And I got to the point where I was just like, this is not what I want to do. It wasn't fulfilling for me. So I found it incredibly stressful, not because of the job itself, but because of my sort of lack of fulfillment, really. So I was there for about 10 years, and it culminated one Christmas when it was snowing loads. I can remember it snowing.
Right.
Where I just had enough. I'd gone through my 20s, extremely tired all the time, like literally sleeping all the time. I'd gone to the doctor and they'd diagnosed me with chronic fatigue. And then she gave me a book, a CBT book, and like that, it didn't really help me at all. And so, yeah, it just culminated in me just burning out, basically, just completely stressed because I didn't know what to do. I was just completely lost, and every job that I'd applied for, I didn't get. And so I felt stuck and I felt frustrated. So, yeah, I ended up burning out and having one of the most sort of darkest periods of my life, really.
Dark night of the soul, I think we call that.
Yeah,
That's what it's
yeah.
often referred to, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And then from that, I leaned into really what it was that I wanted, and I rediscovered my spiritual side and had spiritual counseling. And then from that, I discovered the mind detox method, because the man who invented it or came up with it was actually on embarrassing bodies at the time.
Okay.
So he was doing a health show and I went along and went to the health show. And I thought, oh, actually, I really like everything that he's got to say. And so I trained with him to be a mind detox practitioner. And so, yeah. So then after that, this was still around the time, I was still not quite right though at this point. I'd lost my job and I was working in different cafes and things like that, and just thinking, oh, there's no opportunities for me here in Cardiff. So I trained as a TEFL teacher and
Right.
then moved to Spain, and I've been here ever since.
Right.
Yeah.
Gosh, so how long have you been in Spain for now?
I've been in Spain for 10 years.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess then it was a journey of discovery, as with most of the ladies I speak to on this podcast. We all went through a journey of discovery to find out what it was, what it is, that's our bigger purpose, what we're really looking for. And you said you had some spiritual counseling. That's interesting. So it is about reconnecting us back to us, isn't it? You back to you.
Yeah, definitely. And like moving to Spain as well, and then getting sort of caught up in living here and becoming a teacher and stuff. I forgot about the mind detox method until the pandemic, and I thought, oh, I've got this amazing tool that I know that loads of people are going to be feeling anxious, and being stuck in your house is going to bring up a lot of stuff that you haven't dealt with before. You know that it's there, but you're not dealing with it.
You've shoved down, as I like to call it, the lumpy carpet syndrome. You've just shoved all the problems under the carpet, and then that was the time when they all sort of came out, right?
Yeah. So I thought, oh, I've got an amazing tool here to help people. And then I saw a coaching course advertised, and I thought, oh, well, I can combine the two, the coaching and the mind detox, and it works. It's a really powerful way of people, first of all, discovering what is actually going on for them, and then clearing it through the mind detox method. So yeah, it's really interesting and transformative for people. Yeah, it's really good.
Yes, I know.
Even if I say so myself.
I've been one of Cath's clients, and she
Yes.
did the mind detox method on me, and it was fantastic, and we uncovered.
And it was fascinating.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So so along the journey, I know it's we always seem to think that we're alone. We're the only ones that have got this problem. And it's also, I think, a very British thing that we don't talk about our thing. We don't talk about problems. We just, we talk about them in quiet corners and, whisper them. We are of an age now where we, especially as Gen Xers, that we don't give a shit anymore. We're going to talk about our problems. We're going to start dealing with them and get them off our chest, right, Cath?
I think as well, especially because I'm Gen X as well, I feel like, especially on my journey, and especially the last couple of years, I've kind of realised what trauma is, and trauma doesn't necessarily need to be this big massive event. It could literally just be that your mum told you that you can't have an ice cream when you were like 3 years old, but that is in your system. I know I'm being a bit glib there, but and yeah, it's realizing that. And also I think we don't know what abuse is as well, because through the 80s and the 90s, it was all about domestic violence and things like that. And actually now it's all about the psychological things, the narcissistic things, the gaslighting. And then actually you start to realize, oh my God, yeah, I think I was a little bit gaslighted there, or, so it's coming to this age, like you say, like in your 40s and your 50s, and kind of realizing, oh yeah, that was a bit traumatic, or that was a bit abusive,
right?
and then being aware of that is fantastic because then you can do something about it.
Yeah. It is. It's about self-awareness, isn't it? Once it's out of the box, you can't put it back in the box, right?
Yeah.
Once you understand and you become self-aware that, gosh, what am I doing? What this has been my past. What's happened there? And I've come to this stage in my life now. I want to make a better future, but there's things in my past that I'm suddenly aware of, that Mum said I couldn't have an ice cream, and that those I was gaslighted, or oh God, I remember that time when I was 19 years old and that person told me that, or my boss told me I wasn't, I couldn't get the promotion because not good
Yeah.
enough, or I didn't have the experience, or they didn't like me, there's something about me. And yeah, it is, isn't it? We become self-aware of these, and we start to unpeel the onion, because we are
Yeah.
onions, aren't we? We've got layers and layers of
Yeah.
issues.
And
Or
once you start to do that,
conditioning, actually.
conditioning, yeah, definitely. And that's what the mind detox method is about as well, is finding, because the key to your future is in your past, basically. It's about finding that issue, that conditioning from the past, and clearing that so that you can have a better future. So you're getting your subconscious mind and your conscious mind singing from the same hymn sheet, basically.
Nice, I like
So
that.
yeah, yeah. So you might have a goal, you might think, oh, I really want a new job, or I want to start my business. And you get really excited about that. But then the next day or a couple of weeks later, that little, oh, well, actually, I'm not good enough, or I haven't got enough time, or I haven't got enough money. And those little, like, they're not excuses, they're protective. They're there to keep you safe because your subconscious mind is only trying to protect you. But what it does is it stops you from moving forward. And actually, your conscious mind, your logical mind wants you to move forward. So, yeah, so that's why the mind detox is so powerful, basically,
Yeah,
because it gets rid of that. It gets them back on the same alignment.
excellent. Yeah, so along your journey,
Mm.
what role models or other people inspired you? You said you mentioned that you'd forgotten that you'd done the mind detox, and then you'd gone back, and then you came back to that, and you brought it into the present moment. So what other mentors and people inspired you on this journey, and how important were they?
Oh, actually, somebody who inspired me is somebody that I used to work with. She was a lot older than me, and she was into her spiritualism and things like that. So we used to talk about things and go to meditation classes and stuff like that. And so I found a lot of inspiration from her. But in terms of like big names. I would say Marianne Williamson. I think she's amazing. Wayne Dyer. Um, yeah.
Goes without saying, right? Wayne Dyer, of course, yes.
Yeah. It's really funny about Wayne Dyer because there was one evening when I couldn't sleep. This was probably about, oh my God, 25 years ago now.
Right.
And I went downstairs and I put the telly on and I put QVC on, and he was on at like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning talking about a book. And so I ordered this book, and that was my sort of entry into Wayne Dyer, basically. But yeah, every now and again I go back to Wayne because things hit differently every time you
Right.
listen to him. Yeah. So
Mm.
yeah, Wayne Dyer, Marianne Williamson. I started looking at the Course in Miracles as well. Yeah, so they're my inspiration.
Yeah, it's funny you said Wayne Dyer at 3 o'clock in the morning, because there's a story about Wayne Dyer that he tells, and that's about him writing the book. And He used to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning with inspiration, and he would start writing at 3
Ah,
o'clock in the morning. Well, they do call it the witching hour, right? 3 o'clock in the
yeah,
morning.
yeah, yeah,
And he said he would go, you know, he would just wake up and he would just have these downloads from spirit
nice.
about, you know, and he would go straight to his desk and he would start writing notes at 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, and that's how he wrote most of his books.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
brilliant.
So I'm not
Good.
surprised you saw him on QVC
At 3 in the
3 o'clock
morning.
in the morning, because that was his witching hour.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So what do you think was the biggest leap of faith that you took to be on this journey then, as you started as a no, you tell the story. I won't what do they
The
say? I
biggest
always make my own story.
I think the biggest leap of faith was realizing in the pandemic, oh yeah, I have got this amazing tool that I can help people with. And then taking the chance on the coaching as well. I think that was my biggest leap of faith, really, was to sort of believe that I've got some really good tools to help people with.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, combining the two together, the mind detox method and the coaching together. I mean, you have to, don't you? You have to do it. You know, like you said, you took spiritual counseling. Well, it's all to do with being self-aware and coming back to yourself, and understanding the subconscious and the conscious, and that's all digging deeper, isn't it? And that's all spirituality, right?
Mm,
And so,
yeah.
you know, they all overlap: counseling, teaching, mentoring, you know, anything you put to, they all overlap, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. Have you
Mm.
found that too, Kath, that they tend to all overlap?
Yeah, because well, the reason why people come to you is never the reason
Right.
they actually come to you.
They
Does that
originally
make
thought,
sense?
yeah, they originally thought, oh, I've got this problem, I need to speak. And then it's always that you dig deeper, right? Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And you will find that people do yearn for that side of spirituality, no matter how they've been brought up. There's always some sort of, whether it's they want to believe in the universe or manifesting and that type of thing. So yeah, I think they do all overlap. Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we're talking about the biggest leap of faith that you took. And what about those fears and doubts when you first started on this journey? And how did you overcome them? Did you do a mind detox method on yourself?
No, do you know what? I didn't, but I have recently started doing it on myself.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Because I had a little sneaky belief that oh, I couldn't really do it on myself because I would like not lie to myself, but skirt over things.
Right.
I had a little belief of that, but no, I have started doing it on myself. So sorry, can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Significant doubts and fears on your journey when you took this leap of faith.
Yeah, so obviously the first doubt is like, oh, is it going to work? Oh, I'm going to fail. Is it, who's going to be interested in what I've got to say? The market is saturated, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But also for me, I think a significant doubt or thing that caused me a lot of stress was the tech side of things.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. And that seemed to be a recurring theme throughout my sort of coaching course and
Right.
then doing other coaching courses as well. Yeah, it was the tech, like being on Instagram and doing funnels.
Right.
Sorry if nobody understands that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
that side of things.
It's
Yeah.
amazing. It's amazing, isn't it? What you have to learn when you go into entrepreneurship. Because when you work for somebody else, you know, you go to work for another a company, and all of that set, you go to this person for the tech problems, you go to this person for marketing, you go to this person for blah, 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 blah. And it continues, you know, and you just have to concentrate on one thing. When you're an
Yeah.
entrepreneur, you have to do all of them.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
it is a minefield.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a minefield, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's it at first it's challenging, but like anything, you get used to it.
Right.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
you get over those doubts and those fears, and you get on with it because you start to learn. You find the people who can help you and show you, or look at a YouTube video, you know. Yeah.
That's it, isn't it? That's it. There's so much information these days that
Yeah.
you know, you can self-teach. You know,
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
just go on YouTube, you can find free workshops, free masterclasses. People have lots of information out there to help you.
Yeah. It's
And
amazing.
to show you how to do things. Yeah, and I've self-taught, but it does take an extremely large amount of your time to do that.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
So, what sacrifices have you made along the way, and how did you decide what was worth letting go of?
Yeah, I think I've made a lot of sacrifices in terms of like my social life, my like holidays and things like that. I've had to sort of put those on the back burner, but you don't mind doing that if you know that there's a greater cause, really, and the greater cause is that you're helping people who are so stressed that they just don't know where to turn, and they want a new job and they can't get the new job because they're so stressed. So yeah, I think that bigger picture, you have to look at the bigger picture, and those things, like a holiday to a certain extent is insignificant, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
So
Well, it
yeah.
depends on your ambitions and your goals, really, doesn't it? And, you know, how tenacious you are you know, how fast you want everything to work. There are, you know, sacrifices. And it's funny because, you know, we live in a world these days where, you know, no one's got any patience. Amazon delivers the next day. You know, you want something, it's at the click of a button, right? You just click this
Yeah.
thing and you get it immediately. We get sort of immediate gratification. And, you know, as Gen Xers, you know, we don't mind putting in the graft, and, you know, we're the ones, you know, the younger generation have no patience. To certain extents,
I don't know, I think I'm a bit impatient.
well, yes, but you know, we're the ones that didn't, they were the ones that have had to learn all the tech. We didn't have you know, phones, and there was no internet when we were growing up. You had to run down the phone and
Yeah.
find a phone box to call mom and tell her you're
Yeah.
going to stay at home, you know, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you can imagine, so I can totally feel your pain when you talk about the tech side of things. But it is yeah, everything's everything just takes time. It's, let me see, there's a really good quote. I can't remember who said it. Maybe you'll know. My overnight success took 20 years.
Oh yeah, I saw that the other day, but I can't remember who it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So my
Yeah.
overnight success just took me 20 years, right? So it's because you don't see what's going on. It's like the swan. The swan is like la 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 swimming along. But underneath, the swan is doing this with its legs to move, but you see it just moving gracefully. And, you know, sometimes we look at other people's lives and we think, oh God, they've got it so easy, they're doing it. But it's the behind the scenes and the experience and the learning and the, you know, the wearing of the different hats and bringing everything together to have that result, if you want to call it that. But it isn't ever, it's not really a result, is it, Cath? We're ever evolving, aren't we? So the mind detox method is not just one and done.
Well, it can be.
It's
It can be.
it's uncovering layers though, isn't it? One step at a
Yes,
time.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
it takes time. You've done this one. And
Yeah,
then so your job is for life, isn't it, with one person? Because it's just like we've uncovered that. Now what's next? We'll uncover that and we'll uncover that. And then
yeah,
you bring in the coaching for, you know, to give them a more empowered life and to take control
yeah,
of their life.
yeah, to find their aspirations and what is stopping them from going for that.
Right.
That new job or that promotion or whatever it is that they want to go for. Yeah.
Right. So did you tell me what was worth letting go of?
What was worth, do you mean in terms of
Yeah.
inside?
When you made the sacrifices, what did you decide was worth keeping, and what did you decide was worth you said holidays. You mentioned
Yeah.
holidays, but you said, but they can be but holidays aren't really that important.
Not when you sort of enjoying what you're doing in your job.
Right.
And you can see the bigger mission. But I think for me personally, I think it is letting go of that self-doubt. You
Right.
have to let go of that. Oh, well, not have to, that's a bit strong. Find a way to let go of that
Right.
self-doubt
Very good. Yes.
to to move forward. And know that what you're doing is worthy and worth your time and the person who's coming to you. It's time
that's
as
great.
well.
Yeah, it is pushing through the fears, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, there are obviously, you know, sacrifices like holidays and stuff, but when you talk about, you know, what really, you know, we've all got this self-doubt, this inner fear of, you know, what if it doesn't work? What if I'm going in the wrong direction? You know, what if? But everything you want is on the other side of that fear.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not even as bad as you thought it was going to be. Sometimes
No,
it's
absolutely
great.
not.
Sometimes it's great.
Yeah. And that's it. It's just getting over that hurdle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or that I imagine it like a big block of ice, like a wall made of ice, and you can kind of see your future on the other side, but you can't 100%. Yeah. And so you're sort of seeing it, but you're still resisting it because that big ice wall is in the way, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, like looking through frosted glass or something.
Yeah. That's an
Kind
interesting
of see
analogy,
it,
right? Yeah.
but you're on the other side of that, looking at it.
Right.
Oh, shall I go for it? Shall I open the door, or shall I knock the wall down and go for it, or shall I just stay here?
Right.
And that's the choice that you have to make.
Yeah. Well, it is, isn't it? We always have choices in life. Some of them are just bigger choices than others.
Yeah. And then that's where the fear comes in.
That's where the fear comes in. Exactly.
Yeah.
What shall I have for tea is not such a big decision as what's my next career going to be, right? So there's this big difference. So tell me, what are you most proud of accomplishing on your journey so far? Well, let's look at entrepreneurship and what you've and what are you proud about with your work as a coach?
I'm really proud that, first of all, the people come to me and they trust me. So they find me on, Instagram or Facebook or wherever, and they trust me to help them with their issue, and I do. I am really proud of that. I had one client who came to me because she was really nervous about a job interview. and that was playing into her fear of failure. So we did the mind detox method on her, or I did the mind detox method on her, guided her through it. And we found that there was something in her childhood where she didn't feel good enough. And through that session, she was able to let that go and find some clarity and find some peace and go into that interview and absolutely smash it and get the job. So those things, even though it's not my accomplishment, but I'm giving the person the tools to do that.
Oh yeah, I love that. Yes, yeah. It's empowering them, isn't it? You know, it's empowering.
Yeah.
Like I said, my motto is empowered women, empowered lives. I mean, you know, that's one of the reasons why I do the podcast, is that you can tell your story and they're empowering you to tell your story. And I feel empowered listening to your story. Other women feel empowered listening to us. It has a knock-on effect, and it's fantastic, right?
Yeah. But I also think as well, personally, for me, I think probably one of the biggest accomplishments is just regulating my nervous system. Like get into that place where I'm like, oh, when I realize, oh, that issue, whatever it was, like for example, a couple of months ago, my internet decided to just stop working.
Right.
The Wi-Fi decided to stop working. I was like, oh no, I've got loads of work to do today. That would have driven me, the anxiety that would have caused me would have made me feel sick. I would have started to panic. I would have like almost been in a state of an emergency. That's what I call that.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, just have a cup of
tea.
What
What can you do about it? Exactly. What can you do about it? Can I do anything? Is it out of my control? Is it in my control? No. Is it out of my control? Yes. What can I do? I can call the company to see if the provider, to see if is it me, see what I can do. But you just take the next action step, don't you? You just do it little by little instead of going,
yeah. And that's how I used to live my life, going in.
Right.
And crying. I'd cry. That would probably have made me cry in the past.
Right. Well done.
So yeah, I think just being able to go, ooh, yeah, and recognize, oh yeah, look, that didn't cause me as much stress as it used to.
Right. Well, that's a great segue into my next question, because my next question is, how do you prioritize self-care and maintain your well-being? You know what, as a coach, and you know, with ambitious goals. And what does your work-life balance look like now?
Yeah, so I try to get up at 6 o'clock. I'm not going to say I always do.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry to tell you that I'm not a 6 a.m. person. I never will be. I'm not the 6 a.m. club. No, that's not me.
But I try to get up as early as I can, and then I will drink water straight away. And I do like gratitude and scripting my day out, and EFT and meditation, and I mean, this goes on for hours, but I have to do it, because otherwise, if I don't, that's when those little creepy crawlies come in. Oh, I won't bother doing that today, or oh, this is not working, so I'll go back to teaching, or you know. So yeah, so I do that in the morning. I do what I want to do that day, whether it be content or whether I'm talking to clients, whatever. And I generally finish about 4 or 5 o'clock. Then I'll go for a walk, and then I'll just do a little bit of like EFT, emotional freedom technique tapping, or a meditation to go to bed then.
Yeah, I love tapping. Yeah. I've got tapping.
It's amazing.
I do tapping with my clients. Not very much, but just 1 or 2 things that I've picked up.
It's brilliant.
It's so important to just carve time for you in the day, isn't it? Just to carve some time for you to set the day, and take control of the day before the day controls you.
Yeah. Nice quote. Yeah, like that. Yeah.
It's true though, if you don't have, a lot of time to meditate, and do all of the things that, it's just important just to take 5 minutes just to be in gratitude from the minute you wake up, right? Just to say, thank you for the sleep. Thank you for my lovely sleep. Thank you for my bed. Thank you that I've got a warm, safe house. Right. Thank you for the electricity. Thank you for my coffee. That, just
Yeah.
and immediately, when I'm saying it, I'm smiling. I'm already feeling, otherwise our minds go down a rabbit hole of, oh, I've got to go do that. I've got to go do the shopping. I've got to get this. I've got to do that. I've got to, and the day is just, your mind is overrun. So it's really
Yeah.
nice as you just take that first 5 minutes to wake up, just to say, just to be in gratitude.
Yeah. Because your cortisol is very high when you wake up. I've only just realized this or learnt this.
Right.
So the quicker you can get into gratitude and drink water will bring that cortisol down and stop you feeling anxious. So that's why people feel anxious first thing in the morning,
Right.
is because the cortisol that is there to wake you up. But unfortunately, it causes the other thing. I was like, oh God.
Causes you to go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So why
The
were we made like
the
that?
monkey mind, right?
Yeah. Why are we chemically made like that?
Oh,
Seems
come
a
on,
bit.
Cath. Our bodies are amazing. Come on, we go to
No,
sleep,
they
our
are.
bodies
They are.
breathe on their own. I mean, they regenerate. Everything regenerates as you're sleeping and resting. It's amazing. Bodies are just amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. I would say that that's a bit of a design fault, though, to the cortisol spikes. But
Right, we'll have a word
it
with the
is what it
universe, right?
is.
We'll have when we go over the other side, we'll see if we can redesign that then, right, Cath?
Yeah. Definitely. That'll be the first thing on the list. Change this.
Okay, so apart from the cortisol in the morning and learning about that, what are you still learning about yourself and your goals?
I'm still learning that I'm a work in progress, as we all are.
We're all works in progress.
Yeah, yeah. And my goals are simple, I think. I think I was getting, maybe about a year ago, I was getting caught up in watching other people online and things like that. And actually, they don't have to be these big, massive goals. It's okay to be simple and get the clients in the way that you want to get the clients as well. I know we have certain procedures and certain methods in place and things like that, but yeah, keep it simple, I think, for me. That's my goal. Everything as easy as possible.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. Life is complicated enough, isn't it? Just make
Yeah.
everything. I try and make everything as simple as possible. It's, I like a simple life. I want my clients to have something simple, simple action steps to follow. Everything's easier that way, right?
Yeah, definitely.
When you're overwhelmed and you've got the
Yeah,
monkey mind and you don't know, let's, start with the simple steps like the gratitude in the morning, like we're talking about, and just carving some time for you.
yeah.
And you said about journaling. You did some journaling as well?
Yeah, so especially if something comes up and I'm like, oh, where's that come from? Like we were saying earlier, the awareness. I find that journaling is a good way to get into the subconscious mind. So I will sit there and be like, oh, why? Why do you think that? And that's a really good exercise, actually. So but I can't think of an example now, but have that have that belief, like, or maybe, okay, let's use this. I'm feeling really overwhelmed today. Okay, so maybe that's your statement. Okay, why? Oh, because why? And then eventually you will get to the reason, the actual real reason
Call it
why you're
the
feeling.
root problem. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, the root cause issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of why you're feeling that way. And then once you know, like, oh, okay, I can do a meditation on that, or I can find a tap in. There's so many, there's so much free stuff online for EFT.
Yeah.
It's amazing, you know,
Yeah.
and being and it's not long, it's like 10 minutes, and you're different from you were 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, anything you can do, qigong, you know, yoga, meditation. If you're not into that, tapping is a great exercise to do, just to regulate your nervous system as well, you know.
Yeah.
Qigong actually includes like thymus tapping.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So your thymus gland, which, you know, again, regulates your nervous system. So yeah, it's amazing what is out there, right, Cath? What's online, what's
Yeah,
available.
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
okay, we're coming to the end of the questions. So what's the most unexpected benefit that you've gained from pursuing your dreams?
I think the unexpected benefit is from being in these coaching groups or mentoring groups and things like that is the friendships that you gain. Yeah, I've made loads of friends from being in different cohorts, and I suppose that wasn't something that I thought about. It wasn't my aim. My aim was to make my coaching better, or make my business better, or whatever. But yeah, I think that's the unexpected benefit.
That's great. That's lovely.
Yeah.
I think I'd agree with you. It's the network of women that that I can call on for support, because
Yeah.
coaches need coaches, right, Cath? We need coaches. I mean, we're coaching you. We need coaching too. We need support. We need guidance.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Absolutely, yeah.
we're still evolving. We're still unpeeling the layers of the onion.
Yeah, and so were the
Story.
coaches, and so were the coaches who were like next level up as well.
Absolutely.
What's that saying? New levels, new devils.
New levels, new devils. I like that. Yeah, correct. Right. That's right. You level up,
Yeah.
you get a new level of issues to, you know, you go deeper into the onion.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what one piece of advice do you wish you'd gotten earlier on your journey?
Yeah. So one piece of advice I wish somebody or yeah had told me is that actually it's okay to be vulnerable, because when I was going through my burnout or my breakdown, I don't know if you're allowed to call it a breakdown anymore.
Call it what you want. Call it what you want. It was yours. You own it, darling.
Okay. So when I went through my breakdown, I was petrified of actually telling the doctor what I was going through and what was going through my mind. And I think, and now when people come to me, or even now when I'm speaking to coaches and therapists and all the rest of it, now I don't care, because everybody has got those idiosyncrasies, what am I trying to say? Idiosyncrasies. Or
Idiosyncrasies. Idiosyncrasies.
Those thoughts that make them feel like they're a bad person, and they're not a bad person. It's just a thought. And you are not your thoughts. I used to have a lot of intrusive thoughts, you know, the ones was like, I could just throw a cup of coffee in your face. I mean, they were much worse than that, I've got to admit. So I would attach this, oh, I must be bad. Oh, I'm a really bad person because I thought, oh, no. It's just a thought. So then that would cause me to feel really anxious and really stressed and like I was going to lose control. And now I don't have those thoughts at all. Like never. Those intrusive thoughts never enter my head. Or if they do, I laugh at them. I'm like, oh, you know, when you're like walking down the street and you're just like, oh, kick the toddler. Sorry. But I know there'll be people listening to this who are like, oh yeah, I do that. Now instead of me going, oh my God, I'm a horrible, horrible person, I laugh at it. But it just never happens anymore. So yeah, I think I wish somebody had just said, it's all right to be vulnerable.
It's okay, right? Yeah. It's okay to have a horrible thought. We all have them, right?
Yeah.
Just laugh about it.
Yeah. And it's okay to tell somebody what's going on because you can bet your bottom dollar that they've thought that as well or been through it as well.
Right. Very good. Very good. Yeah. Excellent. Okay. So what do you hope your story will inspire in other women who are listening?
I just hope that they will think, well, okay, yeah, I'm experiencing that at the moment. I'm feeling really stressed. My job is stressing me out. I feel close to burnout. But yeah, it is okay to be vulnerable. It is okay to go and seek advice. And there is light at the end of the tunnel. And you have got a future. It's, you know, you are not your job. You are not your stress. You're just you. And yeah, I hope that it inspires people to think, well, yeah, there is light at the end of the tunnel. I'm going to be okay. And this too shall pass as well. Everything is temporary.
Absolutely. Very good. So, is there one lasting message you want to leave with the audience about following?
Yeah, just if you are going through anything, and I know that it's really difficult, but just try and be compassionate with yourself. Just be kind. And if you can't, then maybe it is time to go and speak to somebody about what's going on for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't be burying it under the carpet. Don't have lumpy carpets like like we used to have.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, a million thanks to Cath for joining me today. Thanks to our audience for hanging out with us. We hope you found it inspiring and empowering. For more information on how to join my ever-growing Passionista Society membership, or to be a guest speaker on this podcast, or to work with either of us, you can message us directly. Until next time, this is Beth and Cath signing off. Bye. Signing off. Bye-bye for now.